At 63, Melissa Sue Anderson is finally opening up and sharing the real, honest truth about what it was like working with Michael Landon all those years ago. Melissa Sue Anderson came into the world on September 26, 1962, right in Berkeley, California, a pretty college town full of ideas and sunshine. She was lucky to grow up in a warm, supportive family that really cheered on creativity and imagination, but they also made sure she stayed grounded, went to school like normal kids, and learned important life stuff. When she was still little, her whole family picked up and moved to Los Angeles, the big city where movies and TV shows get made. Being there so young let Melissa dip her toes into the exciting, sparkly entertainment world way earlier than most kids ever do. She had these amazing, big expressions on her face and a natural gift for showing real emotions, so talent scouts noticed her super quickly and wanted her right away. That led to her first jobs in TV commercials when she was just a tiny kid, smiling and saying lines for products on screen. Even in those short little ads, people could spot something special. She had this serious, thoughtful presence that set her apart from a lot of other bubbly child performers back then. Before long, she stepped up from quick commercials to actual TV guest roles on famous family shows everyone watched, like the magical Bewitched with witches and spells, and the fun, big family adventures of the Brady Bunch. Those early parts were like her training camp. They helped her learn how to show up on time, be super professional, handle directions, and keep her feelings steady even when things got emotional. While lots of kid actors just relied on being cute or silly to win people over, Melissa showed she really got characters and what made stories tick deep down inside. That special understanding told everyone she could tackle much bigger, more serious dramatic roles that needed real heart. Her whole world flipped in the best way in 1974 when she landed the perfect part of Mary Ingalls on the super popular show Little House on the Prairie. The series was a warm TV version of the true autobiographical books written by Laura Ingalls Wilder about growing up on the American frontier long ago. Melissa played Mary, the sweet oldest daughter of hardworking parents Charles Ingalls, played by the charming Michael Landon, and Caroline Ingalls, played by kind Karen Grassel. She brought this quiet, thoughtful, deep inside personality to Mary that made viewers feel connected and touched right in their hearts. Her gentle acting gave the whole show emotional balance. Mary was always the studious one who loved books, took responsibility seriously, and felt things in a soft, sensitive way. That made her a perfect contrast to her lively, adventurous little sister Laura, full of spunk and played so energetically by Melissa Gilbert. The most powerful, unforgettable thing Melissa ever did on the show happened when the writers had her character, Mary, go blind after a really bad illness swept through. The whole storyline could have turned into big, over-the-top crying and drama, but Melissa played it with such careful control and true-to-life feeling instead. The way she showed Mary slowly losing her sight, then facing all the scary sadness and big changes afterward, is still remembered as one of the most moving, tear-jerking story arcs in all of television history, using just small shifts, like how she held her body a little differently, tiny changes in her face, and the way her voice got softer or shakier. She shared deep grief, real fear, and finally, quiet strength. And she did it all with amazing grown-up maturity, even though she was only a young teenager herself at the time. Everyone praised her so much for that performance, and it earned her a big nomination for an Emmy Award, the highest honor in TV. That moment really locked in her spot as one of the very best and most talented young actresses of her whole generation. Even with Little House on the Prairie becoming such a massive hit that families everywhere tuned in every week, Melissa never let the famous role swallow up who she really was as a person. She kept searching for new, challenging parts that would stretch her skills, taking roles in made-for-TV movies and other dramatic projects that let her show even more layers of herself. One standout was the heartfelt 1980 television film called Which Mother Is Mine, where she carried the whole emotional story with such power that she actually won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama or Comedy Special. That win proved she could hold a whole complicated, feeling-filled story all on her own, without leaning on the comfort of her long-time Little House character everyone knew so well. As the years went by and she grew into a young woman, Melissa made a very thoughtful, on-purpose choice to pull back from the non-stop, exhausting speed of Hollywood life. During the 1980s and 1990s, she only said yes to a handful of projects she really cared about, like the suspenseful movie Happy Birthday to Me and some interesting TV dramas here and there. She wasn't running after constant fame, big headlines, or being in every popular thing. She chose peace over that rush. That quieter phase of her career showed how smart she was being. She put real personal happiness, staying true to herself, and keeping her artistic choices honest, way above just being seen all the time. In 2010, she took a big step and officially became a Canadian citizen, starting a fresh, exciting new chapter while still holding warm, fond memories of her past adventures. These days, when she pops up for a rare public event or sits down for an interview, you can see she's truly at peace with every decision she's made along the way. She treasures her acting career and all the special moments it brought, but she doesn't let it define every single part of who she is now. Back in 2014, she teamed up to co-write her own memoir called The Way I See It, A Look Back at My Life on Little House. In it, she gave fans a straight-from-the-heart looking-back peek at what being a child star was really like, with lots of honest stories and even some funny, light moments mixed in. Readers and critics loved how open, brave, and emotionally smart the book felt. It helped make her legacy even stronger as someone who always handled fame with real thoughtfulness, never falling into just sweet nostalgia or any kind of bitterness. Throughout the whole 1990s decade, Melissa Sue Anderson made one big, deeply personal decision that quietly changed the direction of her career forever. Instead of pushing hard to stay super visible and busy in Hollywood all the time, she chose to put her family right in the middle of everything and gave most of her days and energy to raising her own children. Because family came first, her acting jobs during those years were very few and only the ones she truly wanted to do. No rushing. Still, the parts she picked showed she had found a nice, thoughtful balance between being a dedicated mom at home and keeping her lifelong love for acting alive. Even though she wasn't on screen constantly, she stayed a warm, respected face that people recognized and admired in TV and movies. She lent her voice to the cool animated X-Men series from 1993 to 1994, jumping into the fun world of superheroes and ongoing cartoon adventures. In 1994, she also made a memorable guest appearance on the updated revival of the classic mystery show Burke's Law, bringing back some old-school detective vibes. That same busy year, she did voice work for the gentle animated stories from the Bible, Music Video Volume 1, showing how much she enjoyed joining in on wholesome, family-oriented projects with positive messages and a touch of faith. In the years right after that, she kept being picky and only accepted roles that felt right to her heart, like the suspenseful TV movie Killer Lady in 1995. She also appeared in the exciting disaster drama Earthquake in New York in 1998, and popped up in the series Partners in 1999. Each one of those little comebacks was like a sweet reminder to fans that stepping away from the bright spotlight didn't mean she had given up her craft. She still loved acting deeply. When the new millennium rolled in around 2000, Melissa marked the fresh start by returning to television in a gentle role in Thin Ice, where she played the character Tanya Ferguson. Even though it was a smaller part, it felt like a quiet way of saying her acting journey was still going, just at her own calm pace. Soon after, she decided to take another longer break from the industry, this time stretching out to a full 5 years, so she could focus completely on being a stay-at-home mom. Those special years were all about pouring love and attention into her young children, choosing a peaceful, private home life over the always-on, hectic Hollywood schedule. Then, in 2006, she made a short but exciting comeback as First Lady Megan Hollister in the big television miniseries 10.5 Apocalypse, a thrilling disaster epic that got lots of attention. That role put her back on screens in a major way and reminded everyone she still had that strong, captivating presence in front of the camera. Also that year, she slipped in a small, uncredited part in the movie Crazy Eights, quietly reconnecting with the big screen world in her own low-key style. Her pattern of popping in and out continued into 2007, when she added an uncredited voice role as the mother in the television film Marco Polo. Even though it was just a brief moment, it showed she was always open to projects that sparked her interest, no matter if her name was big in the credits or not. After staying away for several more years, she came back once again in 2010 with a nice role in the short film Marker 187, proving her quiet passion for storytelling never really went away. That was followed by another quick, uncredited appearance in 2014's Veronica Mars revival, where she played Stash's mother. Fans who knew her from way back spotted her instantly and smiled. Her very last on-screen moment was a fun little cameo in the movie The Con Is On, playing guest number 2 in a light-hearted way. The film had a small, limited release on May 4, 2018, gently closing out a career that was never about chasing endless roles or constant attention. Instead, it was built on smart, careful choices, always putting personal priorities like family first, and showing deep, lasting respect for the beautiful art of acting itself. The later Hollywood years of Melissa Sue Anderson proved that a real legacy isn't just counted by how many parts you play. It's really about the full, meaningful life you build away from the cameras, too. Away from all the lights and scripts, Melissa Sue Anderson's real life has been filled with steady, enduring love, total devotion to her family, and wise choices that always matched what she truly valued as she grew older. In 1990, she married a talented television writer and producer named Michael Sloan, and what started as a creative team-up soon blossomed into a deep, loving personal partnership. Their marriage stood out as calm and solid in a town where relationships often get rocky. It was built on real stability, lots of mutual respect, and a shared promise to care for both their family and their creative work. Together, they created a close, happy family circle and welcomed 2 wonderful children, their daughter Piper and their son Griffin, who quickly became the absolute center and joy of their lives. As those kids grew up, Melissa made careful, loving decisions to put motherhood at the top of her list every single day. She wanted to give them a normal, secure childhood full of everyday routines and safety, something she herself didn't always have while growing up so young in the bright Hollywood spotlight. In 2002, the whole family made a huge, meaningful move from the United States all the way to beautiful Montreal in Canada. It wasn't just about changing houses or cities. It was a big choice about wanting a quieter, more balanced way of living with less pressure and more peace. Canada brought them rich culture, real privacy, and a fresh outlook on life, and pretty soon it felt like the perfect, true home for all of them. Their love for the country became completely official on Canada Day in 2007, when Melissa, Michael, and their 2 kids proudly became naturalized Canadian citizens. They happily added that new part to their identity while still carrying all their own special personal and work memories forward. As time moved on, like it always does, life brought some changes and new chapters. Eventually, Michael Sloan went to live in New York City, but the strong bond he shared with Melissa and their children remained a huge, important piece of her whole story. Sadly, on August 13, 2025, Michael passed away peacefully at age 78. That marked the end of a long, loving marriage that had lasted decades and left such a deep, forever mark on Melissa's heart and life journey. Losing him wasn't just losing a husband and the father of her kids. It was also saying goodbye to a brilliant creative partner whose ideas and work had helped shape so much of television over the years. For so many decades now, the warm, wonderful legacy of Little House on the Prairie has been tied forever to Michael Landon. He was the creative genius behind it all and played the kind, strong dad Charles Ingalls that everyone adored. But even with all those happy family scenes and important lessons shown on screen, the real day-to-day experience of working under his leadership was actually way more layered and complicated than it looked. Melissa Sue Anderson, who brought Sweet Mary Ingalls to life, has only fully looked back and reflected on it deeply much later in her own life. Now that she's 63, she's speaking with more clear words and open-hearted honesty about what it really felt like to grow up as a professional actress under Michael Landon's strong influence. As a young child star thrown into fame so early, Melissa often felt a mix of big admiration for him and also this quiet emotional distance at times. Michael was incredibly charismatic, she recalled warmly. He had this amazing way of taking charge of any room he walked into, and when the cameras started rolling, he was completely magnetic and impossible to look away from. His sharp creative instincts turned the show into a huge cultural hit that families loved for years, but that same intense energy could sometimes feel overwhelming, especially to the younger cast members who were still figuring everything out. Melissa has said that even though he was a true visionary with big ideas, he wasn't always the easiest person for a kid to just talk to openly. He wasn't someone you could easily go up to and chat with as a child, she explained. There was kind of a wall there, and you could definitely feel it standing between you. One of the biggest, most life-changing moments in her entire acting career came during the powerful storyline when her character Mary lost her sight. It was a part that asked for huge emotional depth, way more than most kids her age should ever have to reach for. Her beautiful performance got her that well-deserved Emmy nomination, but the whole experience left a permanent mark on her heart. That storyline changed everything for me, Melissa shared. It pushed me harder than anything I'd ever had to do before, and Michael expected nothing less than absolute perfection every single take. He always pushed everyone toward the best possible work, but Melissa later realized he didn't hand out a lot of open praise or encouragement along the way. He really believed the work itself should speak for itself, she said. At the time, as a young actor, I didn't fully understand just how much heavy pressure that put on me. As she got older and more mature, some subtle tensions started to build quietly behind the scenes on set. She has gently suggested that Michael's attention sometimes shifted around, and little moments of favoritism could quietly change how people felt and got along with each other. You learned pretty fast where you stood in his eyes, she admitted honestly. But it wasn't anything personal against me, it was just the way Michael naturally operated. Instead of loud arguments or big confrontations, there was this unspoken rule that he was completely in control of both the creative direction and the emotional tone of everything. For Melissa, that kind of dynamic slowly made her feel more and more isolated as time went on. I found myself pulling back a bit, she said softly, not because I stopped caring about the show, but because I needed to protect my own feelings and heart. Looking back with all these years of wisdom now, Melissa sees Michael Landon with a lot more compassion, understanding, and gentle nuance. She points out that he carried enormous pressures every single day, acting in the lead role, directing episodes, producing the whole series, and keeping a massive hit show running smoothly for so many people. Michael really had so much resting on his shoulders, she reflected kindly. He was responsible for everyone's jobs and livelihoods, and that kind of constant pressure can change anyone in big ways. With time passing and some distance from it all, her feelings have softened a lot. She can fully appreciate his incredible brilliance and talent without ignoring or hiding the real emotional cost it sometimes had. He gave me an absolutely incredible opportunity that changed my life, she acknowledged gratefully. But it also came with important life lessons I didn't completely understand until many years later. Today, at 63, she talks about it all with calm, peaceful honesty instead of any anger or hurt. She has truly made peace with her past and with the very complicated, multi-sided person Michael Landon was in her young life. I don't look at him as just a hero or as a villain, she said clearly. I see him now as a real human being, extremely talented with some flaws like everyone, driven by big dreams and very, very complicated. At this point in her life, the truth she's sharing isn't about dramatic secrets or trying to shock anyone. It's about finally reclaiming and owning her own personal story in her own gentle words. I was only a child back then, doing the absolute best I could in a big grown-up world, she concluded with quiet strength. And now, after all this time, I finally understand that my own experience really mattered too, and it's okay to say so.